Good evening, everyone. Wonderful to see so many people joining us. We're just going to wait a minute or so to make sure everybody can log on and sit back and relax. All right. I think we're going to just about still have a couple people just logging on. Hopefully everybody was out today, got home safe. The roads were a little icy and winter has definitely hit Alberta. So if you're like me, it's like, I'm starting to think of sun and sand and maybe going somewhere. So welcome everyone to our Thursday night travel talk. Tonight, our special guest is Freddie March from Western Canada Playa Hotels and Resorts. He's going to be focusing on Mexico, Jamaica, and Dominican Republic. Everyone on this call is muted. You do have control of your video. We'd love to see your faces. So if you want to put your camera on, we'd love to see you. And there is a chat feature. If you have any questions, put them in the chat feature and we will answer them after the presentation. So my name is Lisa Antflick. I'm one of the consultants at Expedia Cruises. And tonight's travel talk is being hosted by the 6 Expedia Cruises locations in the Edmonton area. We've been doing these travel talks since March of 2020 to inspire, to educate you, and more important, to let you know what's been happening in the travel industry. I don't even want to talk about how many months travel has been shut down. I am missing it terribly. And if you're on this call, you probably are as well. Travel fulfills us. That's why we do it. Good news is that travel has begun. Resort vacations such as in Mexico, Cuba, and Dominican Republic are open for booking and busy for booking. Winter is here. It's a great time to start planning to get away from the cold, snow, and dark and start being in sun, sand, and beach. I will say the travel is a bit more complex now. And if you're watching the news, you're seeing every day it's changing. But now more than ever, the professional advice of a travel consultant is needed. Our consultants at Expedia Cruises are here to help you navigate the new complexities of travel and make sure your vacation is safe and seamless. Sometimes people will say, well, you know what, I'm just going to book my own vacation online. And I think, yeah, you can do that in the same way as I could change the oil in my car, but I really prefer to leave things to the experts. When you book with a travel agent, you're going to receive our expertise. There are hundreds of different resorts and destinations, and a travel advisor can help you find the right trip for you. We will help you with information regarding passport, visas, entry requirement, and more COVID protocols and testing required. We are there to assist you in emergencies or when problems occur. If you are ready to travel, we are ready to help book you now. If you're not feeling comfortable traveling, that's okay as well. I will tell you though, the time is always right to plan. Studies have shown that approximately 40% of the pleasure of a trip comes from planning one. Last year has been challenging, and sometimes what gets me through the day is to think about where I can go next. My bucket list has become a to-do list, and I can't wait to start traveling again. Time has passed, and like you, I have much to make up for. We all do. Whatever your dreams are at Expedia Cruises, our consultants can help make them come true. We are committed to finding you the best value for your travel dollars. We are available to help you with air, land, sea vacation. We can plan all components of your vacation. And best of all, we are in your neighborhood, so you can shop local. So I'd like to invite you now to sit back and relax, and let's start exploring the world and dreaming of our next vacation. Freddie Marsh, who's going to tell us all about Playa Resorts. Welcome, Freddie.
Hi, thank you very much, Lisa. Edmonton. I checked the weather in Edmonton. I wanted to see how cold it was, and it said it was -1 and clear. So it's not that we've got some nice weather in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Mexico. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And tell you never heard of Playa Hotels and Resorts. That's our corporate name, but you will probably recognize some of the brands of all-inclusive resorts that we have underneath the Playa umbrella. So we have a new brand called the Wyndham Ultra. There's two of them. One's in Cancun and one's in Playa del Carmen. Great 4-star exclusive resorts. We have a resort in the Dominican Republic called the Sanctuary Capcana, which is a missile as part of the resort. It's a really beautiful, all-inclusive, adults only. In Jamaica, we have our Jewel Resorts, inclusive resorts. So for this presentation, I decided that I'm just going to talk about our Hyatt Ziva and Hyatt Zilaras I'm sure you've probably heard of Hyatt before. Hyatt Ziva and Hyatt Zilara are Hyatt's all-inclusive brand of resorts. Between them, a Ziva and a Zilara is a Hyatt Zilara resort is adults only of our Hyatt Zilaras. We have a few of them. And then our Hyatt Ziva properties are for everybody. So there's no age restriction. So it's great for families, great for everybody. And we call it the evolution of all-inclusive. So sort of about what's all included with our Hyatt Ziva and Zilara properties. And pleasure of a trip is planning it. I couldn't agree more. I'm kind of the same way. I always need to have a trip planned and something to look for that completely. So let's start with service. Because our food can be wonderful. We can have beautiful rooms, doing everything with love. And that comes through when you're at property and you're walking around the resorts. Every time you encounter any of our staff members, we always put our right hand over our heart. And it's very heartfelt and consistent comment I always receive is the service level at the resorts is absolutely phenomenal, are beautiful. So we are a company where, if your budget, because there's going to be different levels of facing the garden, or you could pay a little bit more and have one facing the ocean. It's like cruising, right? So you've got the interior, the ocean view. We even have, 2 and 3 bedroom suites. We have swim out suites. This is what we're seeing. And if your budget was for one of the lower priced rooms, the rooms are going to be beautiful. So don't even worry about that. It's going to be more of what you want your view to look like. So for example, with our all-inclusive resorts, we always include 24-hour room services included. All of the rooms have a stocked mini fridge with beer, pop, water, and juice, and that's all included. And the one thing I love, and I think as I've gotten it used to, we really have amazing beds. So it is the really good quality mattresses, the high thread counts, the really good comfortable pillows. So the bedding is phenomenal. And speaking of bedding, now what that means is normally when you book an all-inclusive resort, if you're booking one of our competitors, let's say, do queen beds. And it's just kind of a request. You just never know if you're going to get it. When you book a Hyatt Ziva or through your Expedia Cruises agent, they can confirm the bedding configuration that you want. So if it's important for you to have a king size, there's no guessing game. You are confirmed that you'll have that king bed when you arrive. Or sometimes maybe you might need 2 beds. If they want to have 2 beds, your Expedia agent can definitely go ahead and confirm that. So that's something that I really like. Because a little bit stressful for people if they're heading down there, and that's super important. You want to be able to make sure that you can have that service 24 hours a day, and there's no charge for the room service. So you're going to be hearing me say no charge a lot. The beauties of booking a Hyatt Ziva and Hyatt Zilara all-inclusive resort, everything is included, including the room. Great menu. When you order breakfast, it is delivered. We have a lunch menu, we have a dinner menu, and lots from. My favorite thing is to order room service in the morning for breakfast, and then be able to go out and sit on the belt. Since the beginning of this whole situation that we've been living through for the last 2 years, now that travel is wanting to, I call it splurge travel. So, we've been denied travel for 2 years. So I'm going to do it right. So we're seeing a lot of people that are wanting to book maybe the swim up suites, larger suite options. We also have suites that come with your own butler. And I'm guilty of that. I booked my own vacation in January. I'm going to resorts in Mexico. And we decided we're going to book a swim up suite just because, we have one. We think we deserve it. So lots of great options for you to choose from. And this is the swim up suites that I was taught. Suites are usually on the first floor. In Cancun, we have some that are on the higher floor, but it's usually on the first floor. You'll have your very nice furniture, and then you have 2 in-water chaise lounge chairs. You can swim right off your patio into that pool. Not all of them, but some of them have a little bell and then like a buzzer, like a doorbell. And when you ring that, that cocktails, and they'll come over and serve you from your swim up. So it's pretty incredible. We have beautiful pools at the resorts, of course. That is a big part of Playa Resorts, is we have these big Canadians. When we're down there, we want to spend as much time as possible in those swimming pools. And guess what my number one question, swim up bar. Everybody loves a swim up bar. Who doesn't love one? So yes, at every one of our Hyatt Ziva, we have a great swim up bar. And yes, it is included. So when you swim up there and get your, I don't know what drinks they're having, that's all included. You're not paying anything extra for that. The other thing is location. In every destination that we operate in, excuse me, we have the best beachfront location. Swimming pools, we do infinity pools. So you can see that the pools come right up to the beach. So even though like I'm not a swimmer, I'm more of a pool guy, but I like being near the beach. So I really like our pools because when you're in the pool, the beach is right there. So you kind of know you're in the swimming pool. I'm always thinking that something's going to tap my leg or something when I'm in the ocean. I don't know. I'm a pool guy. But we also include sports and activities. So that's something that's included as well. So non-authorized water sports are included. So that would be your kayaking, your hobby cats. If you were wanting to go snorkel, use any of that, you can help yourself. We even do floating yoga. And I actually did try this. I wasn't as graceful as they were, but I did try it one day. This is part of the activities that we have going on at the resort. So, we have regular yoga, we've got floating yoga, we've got all these kinds of different things happening. So if you want to be really active, and we have beach volleyball, there's tons of things to do. Because I know that there seems to be 2 kinds of people when they're on vacation. There's the first time, and we can keep you really busy and having a blast. Or if you just want to sit back and chill and just find a nice quiet session. So it's whatever you want. Unlimited fun. So at our properties, our resorts, and a lot of our Ziva resorts, remember I said Ziva are the all ages properties, we're putting in water parks with water slides and lazy rivers. So those are really fun. If you haven't done a lazy river, you grab an inner that takes you all around a big circle. You kind of go in a big circuit. We've got these great water slides. Again, this is included extra for any of that. If you're thinking of traveling with kids, so maybe you're bringing your own kids, have a kids club, a really great kids club, great staff that are all trained in early childhood development and first aid. Kids clubs are really fun. So it's basically like a daycare that we have at the resort where we keep the kids really active. Don't worry, they're not as well. And again, this is all included. So you're not paying anything extra for that. So that's for the kids up to 12 years old. And then you might be wondering, okay, I've got a 13-year-old. What am I going to do with a 13-year-old? We've got our teen clubs. So those are for the 13 to 17-year-olds who are too cool to go to the kids club. We have these real fun teen club. We call it our teens lounge. You see Zed because of Ziva Zalara. We do that a lot with a lot of our names for restaurants. We really like those Zeds. But we include Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is included at all of our resorts. And it's everywhere on the boat. It's in the lobby, it's in the restaurants, it's at the pool, it's in your rooms. So when you check in, devices per room for free Wi-Fi, and it is a very good signal. So yes, you can FaceTime your family and you can do that. So very good quality Wi-Fi. And of course, that is always included. No extra charge for that. Coffee shop. So think of it sort of as a really nice Starbucks or a Blends. You go in, they've got the cappuccinos, the espressos, frappuccinos. In the mornings, I really like it because they have fresh yogurt and fresh fruit. And then in the afternoon, they have sandwiches and some cookies and ice cream and things like that. Is 100% included. Remember I told you I was going to be saying things are included? This is included. So If you're wanting to have a specialty coffee, your double shot, whatever drink that you want, that is included. Our resorts have beautiful spa. We call it the Zen Spa. This is one thing where you would have to pay if you went a facial, anything like that. There would be a charge. They're very good prices. I actually was just I was in Jamaica about 2 weeks ago at one of our resorts, and I was thinking about it. I'm not really a spa. I was kind of looking at the menu, and I was thinking of getting a massage, and I was really impressed with the pricing, because a lot of times when you're staying at a hotel, they're quite high, but our prices I found were very, very reasonable. And then let's talk about the different for us than some of our competitors is we have tons of restaurants at each one of our resorts. And then we'll usually have 7 to 8 a la carte restaurants where you can just go, and it's like going to a really nice menu. There's no reservations required. And what I love is we have a relaxed dress code. We call it resort pack, a suit or a tie. You're on vacation. I usually like basically this kind of restaurants, and the food is incredible. So at each restaurant, none of the restaurants share a kitchen. So it's each individual restaurant is very different, and the food is very different. We also do not require reservations. So that's different than from what a lot of our competitors. A lot of times they'll say, well, you can go to the a la carte restaurants, but you have to make a reservation and go down to the lobby and stand in line and make a reservation. We don't do that. So because you're on vacation, you don't know what time you want to have dinner that night. And because we have so many restaurant options, there's never a wait. If for some reason you will get a pager and you can go have a drink at the bar, or they can tell you which restaurant would have immediate seating. But that happens very guests to how often they can go to the a la carte. So for example, this is our Italian restaurant at one of our resorts. It's called the Noodle and Thread. So instead of needle and thread, they call it the Noodle and Thread. And it's supposed to be like your Italian grandma's kitchen. So it's Italian food. So let's say this was your favorite one and you loved it and you wanted to go there every night, you could. There's no limit. I've even had people where they will go restaurant hopping. So they'll go to one restaurant for their appetizer. They'll go to another restaurant for their main course. They'll go to another restaurant for their second main course, because why not? You're on holiday. And then another one for your dessert. So, there's there's total flexibility there, which is really nice. The other thing that I really like is that we have healthy options. So, if you're trying to be good on holidays, or maybe you have food allergies or food restrictions, this is something that we're really on top of. So for example, I might as well talk about that. Let's say you had a peanut allergy, or somebody you're traveling with has a peanut allergy. You will be asked about that when you check in. If you do have a severe allergy, you will be given a card. And then the card so that would stick it in Dominican Republic, because it would be in English and Spanish. So it explains exactly what the food allergy is. Also, every time you go to a restaurant, when the hostess seats you, they will ask you if you have any food allergies. And also the server does as well. So allergies, we have got your back, and some really great options for dining. Now let's talk about one of my going to an all-inclusive resort is the yummy drinks. So of course, all of your the non-alcohol or alcohol, it's included. And we serve premium top shelf liquor. So we're not that you've never heard of before. We are serving premium top shelf liquor at all of our really fun bars. This is one of my favorites. This is a bar called the One-Eyed Cat. And it's sort of like to me, it sort of feels like a jail. They make some really good martinis. I remember having a couple of really good lemon drop martinis. Sports bars. So this is something that we do at all of our Hyatt Ziva and Hyatt Zilara resorts. Maybe after dinner, you want to go to sports bars where we have pool tables. We'll have, if there's any games going on, we have some cup playoffs we're going to be playing that at the sports bars. They do some really fun things there as well. And a lot of times in the evenings, we'll have local bands come in and have entertainment. So the sports bars are always a lot of shows every night as well. So we do this at all of our properties, and the show usually starts around, and we have professional entertainers. So you're not going to be watching the show and be like, hold on, is that the person that we hire? Professional companies that come in to do all of our entertainment. This is a really fun one that I like. It's like a Cirque du Soleil kind of show that they do, but we've got really, really great entertainment. And then if you're feeling romantic, we also have destination weddings. So that, of course, is a very popular option. Or even if you're wanting to go down and having a special event down there, we can set that up for you. And we have some beautiful wedding gazebos or something on the beach as well. And then all the amazing moments that we have at the property. So this is just a small example of something that we like doing, is we really like having fire pits at our resorts. So on the fire pit, we actually do s'mores. So they'll bring the marshmallows and chocolates and all that. And there is bar service here as well. So you can have a drink and visit with your friends or your family. And it's kind of a nice thing. Also, I didn't even talk about the gym yet. And I don't think I have a slide on that, but that sort of went in with the wellness. Is if you want to keep active while you're on property, we also have really great gyms at all of our resorts. So I wanted a kind of brand and everything that's included and what you can expect at the resort. So now let's talk about where our resorts tell you about each one of them. So like I mentioned earlier, our Hyatt Zilara resorts are adults only, and we have 3 of them. The Hyatt Zilara Rose Hall that I just got back from 3 weeks ago. So remind me, I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Our Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic. And then our Hyatt Zivas, which are all ages. So great for actually 2 in Cancun. We have 1 in Los Cabos, Puerto Vallarta, Rose Hall, Jamaica, and then another Dominican Republic. So I'll start. I'm just going to go through each one and just kind of tell you a little bit about each one of the resorts. 2 fairly new resorts. They just opened in the fall of 2019, and they are in the Dominican. And Cap Cana is an area of the Dominican Republic. They call it the Beverly Hills of the Dominican Republic because it's very high-end, beautiful beach, gated community, and beautiful. We've got our Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana, which is in the pink circle on the left. So that's that U-shaped building. And then right next to it, and what's really nice about this is there's exchange privileges. So if you were staying at the Hyatt Zilara, you can come over and use everything that you want at the Hyatt Ziva, and there's no extra charge for that. So you can use the restaurants, the pools, the bars, everything. If you're staying at the Ziva and you're an adult, you can actually go over to the Zilara as well. Just never any kids over at the Zilara. And then I don't know if you can see that little pink box on the bottom left-hand corner that says #1. We are TripAdvisor as the #1 hotel in all of Dominican Republic. So not even just this area, the whole country. So out of 808 hotels, we are #1. These 2 resorts are gorgeous. So that I've used in the presentation are from the Hyatt Ziva and Zilara Cap Cana. So now I'll tell you about Rose Hall in Jamaica. This is the one that I just got back myself. And to be completely honest, this was everything happened. And I was a little bit I wasn't nervous, but I was like, oh, okay, how's this gonna go? I know and you know what? It was so easy. So don't let the new requirements freak you out at all. It really is seamless. So for Jamaica, I did have to get an antigen test to go down. You have to get one of those at least 72 days or 72 hours in advance. Those are the cheap ones. I think you can get them at Shoppers Drug Mart for about $40. So that was really easy. I had to get one of those. For Mexico and Dominican Republic, no test. So you don't even have to worry about it. It's only Jamaica. And then once I was at the resort, I put a PCR test to come back into Canada. Well, the hotels look after it. So we look after that. If you're going to the Dominican Republic and you're staying at least 7 nights, which usually if you're going that far, you're going to probably stay for at least 7 nights, at the cost of the PCR test for Dominican Republic. For Jamaica and Mexico, unfortunately, there is an additional charge. They're different per destination, but they're usually about $100. And actually, Cabo used to be for the most expensive one for the test. but our general manager at the hotel just got the rate reduced to 90. Are coming down. And there's probably a good chance by the time you go, the prices will even be lower, or it might not even be required. We just never know, right? So things are always changing, but the pricing is going the right way. They're all coming down with the pricing. So this is our Hyatt Post Hall in Jamaica. We're only 15 minutes away from Montego Bay Airport, which is great for us in Western Canada. A bit of a longer flight. You've probably been to, if you've been to the Caribbean before, although there is the resort, the Hyatt Zilara is on the right side, and then the Hyatt Ziva is right next to Privileges. So I was staying at the Zilara side, so I was able to come over to the Ziva and use all the restaurants and all that. Adults of the Ziva can go over to the Zilara whenever they want. And it's just little touches at the Hyatt. So for example, there's no towel cards. So you may have been to an all-inclusive, like one of our competitors, where you go and when you check in, and you have to go down with your towel card and give that in, and they give you a beach towel, and you don't want to lose it because they charge you. So when you go down to the pool or the beach, we have plush towels for you. We have extra towels for you, so you can have more than one. And the quality of the furniture that's around the pool and the beach, it's not like cheap plastics, the nice like loungers and that sort of thing that we have here. And the food was incredible. Now we will move over to Cancun and talk about our third Hyatt Zilara. This is the Hyatt Zilara Cancun. And it looks like a massive hotel, but it's actually not that big because all the rooms are facing the ocean. So we call it single corridor. So on the back of the resort, that's just the hallway. So all the rooms are facing out to the ocean. So every single room has a beach. In Cancun right now is beautiful. So if you're a beach person, you might definitely want to check out Cancun as an option. And then up the beach a little bit, we have a Hyatt Ziva Cancun, because the Zilara is the adults. This is our family one. And remember earlier I was saying that we always have the best locations. This is a prime example. We have the best location in Cancun. We are at Punta Vista, which is the point 7. So we're right at the point of the 7, which means we are surrounded on 3 sides by this beautiful turquoise. So you can see we've got this one beach here that we're looking at, and this beach is incredible. The water is crystal clear, waist deep, way out. There's no waves, like little tiny little ripples, but no major waves, so no undertowing. With kids, this is a really good beach. Or if you're not a strong swimmer, this would be a great beach. And then on the other side, we call it, because it's so big, so that's our second beach. And then at the Hyatt Ziva Cancun, remember I was saying Zivas you have an adults-only tower called the Turquoise Tower. And let me tell you, I stayed here in lockdown, and I was staying at the Hyatt Ziva, and I decided to upgrade and stay at the Turquoise Tower. And I'm sure glad I did. I actually didn't think I was a butler kind of person. I was like, what am I going to do with a butler? Turns out I'm a butler kind of guy. It was nice having I needed. The butler was there, and we communicated by WhatsApp. So she hadn't heard. Every once in a while, she would just check in. Mr. Marsh, how are you doing? Do you need anything? And it was great. All the room has a jacuzzi on the balcony. So you have these amazing beach views from your balcony and this is where we have the swim out, sky swim outs. I don't know if you can see them in the photo, but they're on they're an infinity edge pool, which are incredible. So that's in Cancun. Then we have our newest resort about a month ago. It's our new Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun. So if you've been to Cancun, or a little town called Puerto Morelos, which is about halfway between Cancun and Playa del Carmen, there's this cute little town called Puerto Morelos. We're just outside of Puerto Morelos. So again, great location because we're on the beach, but we're only to 20 minutes from the airport. I love that when you arrive at the hotel, at the airport, you don't have a long transfer time to get to one of our resorts. And then because we are in Western Canada, I got to talk about our Hyatt Ziva Los Cabos. Beautiful property. This is the one where we just restaurant or everything. Everything seems to be more expensive in Cabo. That's why it's good to do an all-inclusive because everything's included. But the PCR tests were over the most expensive at any of our destinations, but it's now only $90. So that's much easier to swallow if you what it was before. This property is located in San Jose del Cabo. So if you've been to Cabo on a cruise, Cabo San Lucas is where the cruise ships come in. And usually you have to tender in. And that's where it's sort of touristy. That's where a lot of the nightclubs are. Then about 30 minutes away is a smaller little town called San Jose del Cabo. It's more artsy. There's something called an art walk where you can go around to the different galleries with a glass of wine, and it's really kind of a fun thing to do. Rooms face, most of the rooms are facing in towards the ocean as well. The only thing that I always like to point out, because I like to be completely transparent, is if you are a beach person, like swimming in the ocean, want to do Cabo, just because the undertows can be quite strong and dangerous. But if you're a pool person, like major pools, so we've got the two big ones that you can see there, and that pool that's closest to the beach has an infinity edge. So even though you're at the beach, that's where the swim up bar is as well. And then over on the building on the left, you can't see it, but there's then over on the other side of the building on the right, that's where we have our kids pool. So we have a special pool just for kids with little waters. Great property. I just get nothing but rave reviews on this one, and I've been here many times myself. But I know I probably shouldn't have a favorite resort. I think it's kind of like having a favorite child. You're not supposed to do that. But I do have a favorite, and it's Vallarta. So nice and easy for us in Western Canada. There's non-stop flights out of Edmonton to get you into push time usually. And this resort is just south of downtown. So if you've been to Puerto Vallarta before, you know there's the downtown cobblestone streets and the romantic zone and the Malecon. We are just by downtown, so we're close. So if you want to go into town and experience all that, it's only a $6 cab ride. Or if you're really feeling us, there's a bus stop outside the resort. I've done that before. It's about $1, I think less than $1. And the buses just come by all the time. And we are the only hotel on this cove. So even though in Mexico, there's no such thing as a private beach, this resort or hotel. And this one is a swimmable beach. So beautiful. So if you want to go in the ocean, no problem with that. Ocean. So again, especially being in Alberta, you don't have the ocean at your doorstep. So when you're on vacation, it's so nice that you can walk out into your balcony, and it's not a peekaboo view of the ocean. It is the ocean is right there. And sunsets to enjoy one of those beautiful sunsets from there. And then we also have something unique at this property. It's called a jungle tour. So because we're up against that mountain, there's a little creek that kind of goes through the property. Our sports and entertainment team will lead everybody who wants to go up on this hike up behind the resort to a waterfall. And it's really fun. And there's no charge for that. It's just something that we do. If you're thinking of doing it, make sure you bring running shoes because you're going to be getting their feet wet when you're walking up there. But it's really, really fun. Now, I do want to talk about our Playa safe stay. When I was at the resort, so I was there for 11 days, just a couple weeks ago at our Hyatt Zilara Rose. What's life like at the resort? Well, we take safety very seriously because we're part of Hyatt and Hilton Resort. We have to adapt their protocols. So, every time you go into a restaurant, they want you to wear the mask. When you get to a restaurant, you'll do a hand sanitizer, wear your mask. You walk normal times, really. And then at the pools and the beaches and all that, you don't have to worry about wearing masks. Or all of your luggage is disinfected and cleaned before it's taken up to your room. We're doing a lot of sort of things to keep all of our team and our guests happy and safe. And I did want to mention a bit right now is what would happen if I decided to go and I know that I have to get a PCR test before I come back. What would happen if I tested positive? Well, first of all, that hardly ever happens. We very rarely get late. And then when they get a second test, it usually comes back, it was a false positive. But, a couple times we have had that. So we do, this is $29 US per person per stay. So not per night, for the whole week or 2 weeks of check-in. And this would cover, in case you did, on the very slight chance you tested positive and you couldn't come home, you can stay with us for an extra 14 nights while you wait that time out to come back. But like I said, that is not happening at all. And actually, the trip that I was on, the first part of the trip, was actually 250 people at the conference. So it was kind of interesting because we had to, there was social distancing with the way they were doing everything. Tested positive after out of the 250 people. So like I was saying, it really feels in the back end that you don't see to keep everybody safe, but really we want to keep this as a fun thing. We don't want it to feel like you're going to visit. We want you to have just be able to let your hair down and enjoy it. And I definitely felt that when I was there. And I wasn't sure if I was so happy to see that it feels just like it did before. And it felt so good to get away. I didn't even realize till I got down there. And I'm already starting to plan my next one because I know that that's 40% of the enjoyment. And I could have gone on further, but I wanted to save time in case there were some questions at the end here.
Oh my God, I want to get my sandals and my bathing suit and my suitcase and get ready to go. Those beaches look absolutely fabulous. There are some questions, so I'm just going to throw them out to you. Let me just, one of the questions, are there lifeguards at the beach in front of the resorts?
Yeah, that's a great, at the beach and also the pool. So we have certified lifeguards at both.
Okay, that's fabulous. Is that available at all the resorts?
It is. It is. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of fun. What you do is those floating mats, they anchor to the bottom of the pool. Because when I first did it, I was like, am I going to be floating like all over the place? But they kind of stay in one place, but you got to have balance. But yeah, it's really fun and we're doing it at all of them.
And I guess if I do a downward dog and I fall, I'm just going to go into probably some beautiful warm water. Exactly. Is there a quote unquote membership presentation at any of these resorts? I think we're talking about timeshare. So your resorts have nothing to do with timeshares.
No, and I should have mentioned that because that's a huge selling feature. Because I know a lot of our competitors, they're going to try to rope you in and try to do timeshare. We share at our property, so there's none of that.
Love it, love it. Not so much recently, because probably about a year or two ago, there was some issues with seaweed on the beaches in Cancun.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. So a couple of weeks ago, I heard that it was quite bad. They call it keeps coming up in the Caribbean. If that is a major concern, I do have one of our resorts called the La Romana in the Dominican Republic. Beautiful resort. I didn't talk about it because it's one of our Hilton brands, the way it's located. So if that's sort of a concern and you're like, oh, I want to make sure I go somewhere where I'm not going to see it, the Hilton La Romana would be you.
Okay, thank you. A question about the a la carte restaurants, men's dress code, or dress sandals, dress shorts, okay?
Yeah, dress shorts are okay. I try never to wear pants when I'm down the whole time. So I love that I can go to any of the restaurants and, nicer shorts. They don't want you wearing your bathing. A collared shirt, but like a short sleeve collared shirt like this is totally fine. And then with the shoes, they sort of want closed-toed in the evenings. I'm talking about daytime, it doesn't matter, but in the evenings, just get running.
Okay. What we're finding is that, and you talked about, how did you describe it? You talked about finding that people are just, and especially because it's dark in Alberta at like 4:30, and right now we're fairly mild, but last week, availability, like how far in advance do you have to book if somebody wanted to go away in February or March?
There are. So normally in past years, I'd say, oh, it's getting pretty limited. We do this year though, because travel is just sort of ramping up now. We actually do have the availability. So if you're wanting to splurge like I'm doing and do a swim up or a butler suite, we actually do have a lot of that inventory left at the resort. So you should have getting that if that's what you're looking for.
All right, and definitely all the Expedia Cruises consultants are willing to help you on that. Taken care of. Food allergies was also addressed. And that's in all the restaurants, all the resorts. So give me an idea, like, do you deal with?
Well, pretty much any allergy. The main ones right now seem to be the gluten and the peanut a lot. But even if you have, if you have if you're on a certain diet like paleo and keto, accommodate that as well.
Okay, wonderful. You did touch about the PCR tests, so they are Dominican free and Jamaica and Mexico at a reasonable discounted rate. So when they get to the resort, do they need to arrange that at the front desk, let them know they're Canadians and this is what we need to come back?
Yeah, so when they're checking in, you always have to give your passport to the front desk anyways, just for them to look at and copy the information. Right. So they'll see that you're Canadian, spot at that. And the testing is done on site. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So you don't have to worry about leaving the resort. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Question about the dedicated turtle program at the Ziva Puerto Vallarta.
I love that. Yeah, that's one of the great things. We actually have it at several of our resorts, including the Hyatt Ziva Puerto Vallarta. What we'll do is when the turtles come in and lay the eggs, we have a section of the beach that's closed off. We're sure all of those eggs get put in that area. And then if you're lucky, and we never know when it's going to happen, be there for a turtle release, which is just an amazing experience to see these little guys at night. And I heard that they're going towards the moon. The moonlight is what they're doing when they go into the ocean. But it's really, really special thing to be.
A question about capacity. All these people are so smart. Question about capacities right now. Approximate what's the capacity?
Actually, I was talking to Randy about that earlier. Is in some of our destinations we are capped by law at 70%, which is kind of nice of the country we're operating in. So you can only be at 70%. That would be, but we're not normally full right now, like we are on normal years. So when I was down in Jamaica, kind of got a little bit quieter during the day, which I kind of liked. It was kind of nice having all that extra space.
Perfect. Well, I think that is all the questions. Just want to thank everybody for joining us. Just remember, travel is starting, and it's to either start to travel or start thinking about where you want to go. Freddie, do you have availability and bookings available into 2022 and beyond? Where are you in terms of your booking process?
We do. So you can go and send off. And of course, your Expedia cruise agents have full access to that. And the beauty of it, if you're thinking about going away and booking something in March and getting having a trip to look forward to, but you don't, small chance you have to cancel. We have relaxed cancellation policy right now as well. So makes it really easy to
lower capacity, so lots of space. They take care of your PCR tasks, flexible booking policy.